the Lonely Knitter podcast. My name is Laura and welcome to my knit night. If you are a returning viewer, then thank you so much for coming back, and if you are a new viewer, thank you so much for checking me out. This is where I come pretty much on a weekly basis to come and chat about my knitting throughout the week, because if I am not holding a toddler's hand, cooking food, like if my hands are empty, well, they're not. If my hands would be empty, they have knitting in them. So I get a lot of knitting done, but I don't have any knitting in-person friends around here, so this gives me the opportunity to talk about it so that I don't turn my husband crazy. I'm coming to you from Loft in the UK. That is the most easterly point of the UK, and I live here with my 2-year-old and my husband. And yeah, as you can probably tell if you are a returning viewer, it's daylight. I don't ever record in the daylight. I always record on a Sunday night, and it's late. It's probably about 10 o'clock usually, and I'm knackered and don't make any sense. Well, I don't have that excuse this week because it isn't even lunchtime. In fact, it's 5 to 12, it's coming up to lunchtime. It is Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK. It's the 22nd of April, and we've just had the Easter weekend. So usually I would have my daughter on a Monday morning, and then I would work a late shift where I work. And today it's Bank Holiday, so the pharmacy I work in is shut. So, yay! I'm off work today. My husband has gone to an away football game, and my mum has taken Ellie for the day. So I have about 5 hours, well actually now I have about 4 hours to do whatever I want. So I thought that rather than record last night in my usual exhausted state, I would instead swap it out this week for a awake person podcast. And there isn't actually a lot to talk about this week, so I will crack straight on. It shouldn't be a long one. I'll start with the whole normal bit at the beginning. So if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. If you are not a subscriber and you would consider clicking that subscribe button, I would seriously appreciate it. The more likes, the thumbs up, and the more subscribers that I get, the more YouTube will then put me out there, and the more traffic I will get. And I am really enjoying being part of the online knitting community, so I would have a lot of fun with that. Yeah, every time I get a subscribe, I'm like. Also, we're at 393 subscribers about 10 minutes ago. And when I get to 500, I will be doing a giveaway. I have decided to wait until 500, but I will try and gather some nice things. So we only have 107 left to go before we get there. And also, in the last week, I went over, what was it? I can't remember if it was like this last time I podcast and I talked about it because I was really knackered, but I am well over 1,000 subscribers, or not subscribers, followers on Instagram now, which was pretty amazing. So thank you so much everyone that's gone and clicked follow over there. I am the Lonely Knitter on Instagram, and the Lonely Knitter 2 on Ravelry, but I don't use Ravelry a massive amount because I just don't find it the quickest and easiest place to chat. But you can chat with me on Instagram, and you can chat with me on Ravelry. I might just take a little longer to reply. And also on Facebook. Myself and Katie of the Geordie Knits podcast have a Facebook group called Knitalong with Geordie Knits and the Lonely Knitter. It was Katie's Facebook group that evolved from the Flax Along into the next knit along she wanted to do, and we decided to team up and do one together. That is a stranded colourwork knit along, and it is running for 3 months. It started on the 1st of April, and yeah, you can just go and join in over there. I will open a Ravelry thread at some point for finished objects in my Ravelry group. I'm pretty sure Katie has one in her Ravelry group, and then we have the Facebook group, and we'll be drawing prizes from those at the end of this knit along. So it is it's a really fun little group. It's a really nice little group, and it isn't just for people who are knitting along with us. There are a lot of people in there who are just talking about whatever projects, and it's just really lovely. It's a really nice place to go for advice or for someone to cheer you on. It's just a really nice place to be. So yeah, if you want to go and join in over there, please do feel free. I think that's all of those bits and bobs. So I'm going to go straight into finished objects. So I I am wearing a finished object. Pretty sure this wasn't finished last week. I'm pretty sure I dropped a bunch of stitches off the needle. But this is my newest design that is finished and written up. It is the Winged Gayless. It is not blocked and the ends aren't woven in, but as usual over here, doesn't matter, that doesn't count towards a finished object, but I am about to block it and go and hang it out in the sunshine. So I'm just, this is the cast on up here, and then this is the cast off edge. So it's a really simple garter stitch shawl, and I think it looks a little bit like a wing with feathers here, wingtips. Yeah, so it's just done really easily with increases and decreases, and it's already been written up and it's already been tested. It's sort of happened in the background, so this is all ready to go. So I just need to block it and take some good photos of it, and then I can put it up for sale on Ravelry if anybody is interested. So it is quite, this is one skein, and it is my wingspan, just, yeah, my wingspan, and will be, I hope, a little bit bigger even after blocking. But it's, this yarn is my Aimee yarn from Katie sent to me. So Katie, Geordie Knits Katie, went to EYF, I didn't get to go, and she said, oh, you know, I can be your yarn mule, what do you want? And so I bought a skein of Aimee, and I love it. It is singles, merino singles, in the Yellow Brick Road Graffiti colourway, and it's so soft. I think it is my first time, it's not my first time knitting with singles, but it's my first time doing a big project with singles. I've just had little tiny things before, and I love it. I love it. So this is the design you can carry on and carry on. So this is how big it was with one skein of like fingering weight yarn, but the pattern doesn't have you end, it just tells you to end whenever you come to a point. So you could just keep going and going and going, depending on how much yarn you had and how big you wanted it to be. So yeah, and actually ever since I finished it, I feel like it reminds me with it here, I don't know, I get like a flower fairy feel. Did anyone have those books, the flower fairy books, when they were little? It really gives me that, I don't know why. So yeah, here I am with my ends. So yeah, this is my latest completely finished test knit, almost ready to go design. I just need to take the pictures, so I don't know when that will be. I don't do anything fancy. I do take pictures on my iPhone. I do not have a nice flashy camera to do it with, and I also normally have a 2-year-old running around while I try and do it, so I would take pictures just in my back garden, and I might still do that, but I like doing it in nice places, and which is usually public places where I get lots of weird looks. But I might try and do that. I might try and get out and take some pictures somewhere. I have a place in mind that I think would be really nice. So yeah, this is called the Winged Gayless, which is after, it's an Outlander reference. Gayless is a character, Gayless Duncan is a character in Outlander, and she's accused of becoming a winged creature and a witch. And yeah, I was watching that when I was knitting this one and thinking about it, and yeah, that's the name I decided to give it. So, not a lot of explanation there. There is another one that also needs to be blocked. This was the first incarnation. It's a lot smaller. I've gone up a couple of needle sizes and changed the start completely. It doesn't have this flat edge here anymore at all. But this one I'm going to soak and hang out today as well, see if this grows. This one is going to be one of my nanny's 80th birthday presents. This one is mine, and this one is made out of Noodle soup yarns in the colourway Inky Tincture, and this one is an MCN, so it's really squishy. That's one thing that did surprise me with this. It is so soft for 100% merino. I mean, this, you can feel that extra cashmere, that extra softness, but this is not that far off at all, so lovely. It's actually a bit hot to be wearing a shawl. This is fine in here, but it's the nicest weekend in ages. I feel like winter is gone. Only last week I was still taking mittens out for Ellie. Now she's in like shorts and a t-shirt. Yeah, so this is a finished object, and I also have 3 other finished objects, but I don't have them here to show you. On Thursday, so today's Monday, on Thursday I decided to knit Ellie a bunny rabbit for Easter, and then I also decided to knit one for my niece and my nephew, and I decided on the mini sock yarn bunny from Susan B. Anderson. It's supposed to take only 15 grams of yarn. I did not check gauge in any way, shape or form. I used about 18 grams, which was fine. I had 20 gram minis. I used, well, I'll show you a picture first. So, picture. And I used West Green Loft Yarns minis that I got from Unravel. And yeah, Ellie had the pink one, and then the other 2 were for my niece and my nephew. And I knit them like a crazy person. Started them on Thursday night I knit ahead. And then Friday finished Ellie's and knit both the heads for my niece and my nephew's ones. And then Saturday we were busy and we were out all day, so I knit one body. And then Saturday night I was going to get the majority of it done. I only knit the other body because I went to a family party that I was just going to pop into, but then I went back, changed my clothes, went back and stayed there until midnight when it ended, and didn't get home until 1:45. So, but it was a really good night. It was a really good night. But then it meant that on Sunday morning I had to knit 8 bunny arms and legs, like the wind. But I did it just in time for when we saw my niece and my nephew on Sunday afternoon, and they got their rabbits as well. So yeah, 3 little sock yarn bunnies, but I don't have any of them here to show you because Ellie's gone out and it had to go with her, and the other 2 have already been gifted. So it looks like I have barely anything to show you this week, but I promise you I have been working on stuff. The other thing that I have been working on is my one and only whip from this week, because the other things are finished. And I wasn't going to show you guys. I was sort of keeping it a little bit of a secret. I wasn't, but then someone else said something about being a secret, and then it all became a bit of a secret, and it was never really meant to be. So I'm not precious about it. But I'm going to Perth Festival of Yarn this year, and the tickets are being released very, very shortly, in the next 5 days. Keep an eye out. Next Saturday, or this Saturday coming. And I want tickets for the weekend to go into the marketplace, and I've not got any classes in my budget right now, but if there are some left a little bit nearer the time, then I'll definitely be looking at them. But I'll have to see. At the moment I'm a bit strict on what I can do, but I definitely want a weekend ticket, and I really, really want to get a Saturday gala night ticket to go with my friends Katie of Geordie Knits podcast, and Mia, she's the dyer behind Brambles&Me. Anyway, so now I've got 6 patterns on Ravelry, and I have another 5 in the works, and this is one of them. And it's not really a secret at all, but hadn't really spoken about it yet, so I'm going to talk about it now. So I bought 2 skeins of yarn from Mia, Brambles&Me, and I have talked about these before. There isn't a ton left of both of them. They are, still got my tags. It's in the Rockfall base, which is 85% superwash blue lace Leicester, 15% Donegal Nep, and it's a 4-ply yarn. And I've got it in the Rosy Cheeks. That one is Rosy Cheeks, that's Mia's logo. And this one is Cherished Moments colourways. And it's getting pretty big. I think it will block out to be even bigger. It is now much bigger than my wingspan. Doesn't look it because it's all crumpled up on my circular. But it is knit from the bottom up. I don't know if you can see. So it starts down here, and you knit it in sections. So this first section, then this one, and then this one, and then I'm repeating those first 3 sections. And then something else with the last 2. So there'll be 8, hopefully, as long as I have enough yarn and don't have to rip it all out and start again. There will be 8 sections throughout the shawl. And it may not be massively deep. It'll be, I think, deep enough. But it will be incredibly wide. So you'll get a few wraps round, hopefully. Which is something that always gets me with shawls, is when I'm feeling like they don't go around me very much. So yeah, this is my, I'm currently still calling it the Road to Perth shawl, because it would take me 8 hours to get to Perth, and as long as there's no horrendous traffic, and it's going to have 8 sections in it, and I'm thinking about Perth the whole time I'm knitting it. It's knit in a yarn dyed by one of the vendors at the Perth festival. You know, this is all Perth all the time. So this is my Perth shawl so far, and I will be knitting a second one in some of Mia's yarn for a sample for her booth, and just in general I'm really enjoying it so far. It's just quite a simple, lots of garter, and a lot of texture. Yeah, just nice squidgy shawl. So we'll see how that goes, because it's still in my head. The last 2 sections are completely in my head. I haven't worked out what I'm doing. I have no clue. So this is where we are so far. And that is living in my bag from So Can Jo. And the amazing Jo is setting up a Etsy shop. She has her Etsy shop, and we're waiting for it to all launch with lovely bags to buy, because oh my gosh, Jo is incredibly talented, and I have another one of her amazing bags all ready for a giveaway. It's probably going to go into the knit-along that's going on at the moment. So that's everything I've been knitting on this week. We're only like 17 minutes in. I told you it'd be a short one. Anyway, so next on to stash enhancement. Now I know, and you will know if you've been watching, but I am on a bit of a yarn diet. Not a fully, like, never buy any yarn diet, but just there are festivals I want to go to this year and money I want to spend at those festivals, and I don't really have a lot of cash because I'm always spending it all on yarn. So in the next sort of few months I'm going to try and work from stash a little bit more and try and work on some of the designs that I have going on that really are part way through, but I keep picking up other things. I also have a couple of test knits and other things going on that I want to take part in, and I'm not getting to knit all the things, so I need to just calm down, slow down just a little bit. I would love there to be yarn coming into this house every single day. Seriously, every time I get a yarny package, my life is just like, ah, for about 2 minutes while I open that package. But I can't afford it, so I need to calm myself down for a little while. Can't be spending all the money. As I have said before, I sell my patterns on Ravelry mainly because I want to try and fund in some way my hobby, because I only work part-time, we have a mortgage and we have bills to pay, and we don't have a lot of spare cash. We don't go on holidays very much at the moment. You know, we haven't got a lot of extra, so me spending money all on yarn can feel a little selfish. You know, everything in moderation, as they say. So I have had 2 packages come this week, but I didn't pay for either of them, so they do not count in any way. And the first one that came through my door was from the lovely Claire, the owner of the Lost Sheep Wool Shop in Rollesby. Now, I'm Lowestoft. Rollesby is about a 35 minute drive from me, so not far at all, and it is a fabulous yarn shop, and I would really recommend it to anyone who's in the area. If you're in Norfolk or Suffolk, it's not that, depending on whereabouts you are in Norfolk and Suffolk, because they're big counties, it's not that far away from me. So yeah, it's if anyone's visiting like Norwich area or anything like that, it's not a long drive. Anyway, Claire messaged me and said, would I like some badges, because I collect badges. I've got a bag with badges on, which is over there. I'm not getting up. I've shown it before, and she said, you know, she's got badges for her shop. Would I like some pin badges? And I was like, oh, I would absolutely love them, thank you. And she took my address and she put some in the post for me. Well, I didn't just get badges. I got badges and yarn. But can you look at that? So there are the 2 Lost Sheep Wool Shop badges that she sent me, one in the darker, one in the lighter. And then she also sent me a Yarn Shop Day badge because she'd invite me to come over to the shop for Yarn Shop Day, which is this coming Saturday, but I'm working until 3:30 in the afternoon, and from 7 a.m, so I wouldn't get in before either. And then it is my nanny's, my grandma's 80th birthday, so I'm going to see her straight afterwards. So I can't quite squeeze it in, which I was really, really sad about. Felt really left out, but she sent me a couple of badges for the shop and a Yarn Shop badge, and now I don't feel as left out. But she's also sent me this amazing skein of yarn. These weren't pinned on here, I have done that, but this is Malabrigo Silky Merino, 51% silk, 49% merino wool, approximately 150 yards in 50 grams in the sand colourway. It's got cat hair on it already. And it is just gorgeous. It absolutely glows. They are singles. So I feel like I've finished and cast off this in merino, you know, like a yellowy goldy colour in singles, and then I got some more in my stash, so I'm not, wow, that really does glow. So yeah, I'm not without. I'm really, really chuffed with this, so thank you so much, Claire, if you're watching. But I got yarn this week. Okay? So that was from Claire. And then I got something completely out of the blue. And it made me cry. So I watch the Hairy Sheep podcast, and that is hosted by the lovely Emma and her fabulous daughter Rosie. They are so lovely, and their podcast is brilliant. Go and check them out if you haven't already. They went to the Spring Into Wool Festival the other weekend, and I couldn't go, and I was feeling very down on it because I had planned to go. It just clashed with things, and I didn't have the cash, and I couldn't quite make it. It would have been an 8-hour drive round trip, and 4 hours there, 4 hours back in one day because I was working the day before and the day after, and I just couldn't swing it, and I was a little bit sad, jealous. And Emma and Rosie, they did go, and through my door I got this gorgeous note from Rosie and a little package. So Rosie bought me Willow Knits, so she's included the leaflet, so it's Willow Knits limited edition hand-dyed silk yarn. So here are the details. And I got 3 gorgeous mini skeins of silk. How amazing are these? This is calling me Harry Potter. But they are all so beautiful, and they absolutely glow. That is definitely the silk. They glow. So this one is called Caramel, Air Force, and Cranberry, and they're all different weights. And I love minis, so they're going straight into my little mini stash, and I'll find a perfect project. But there was also this lovely little progress keeper that's little ballet shoes, which was so sweet. So, and I was just really overwhelmed, and afterwards when I messaged Emma, she said that Rosie had bought them herself and then shown them to her in the car on the way home and said, I'm sending these to Laura. I think my lovely friend Katie, Geordie Knits podcast, she got some too. And I just was overwhelmed to have someone think about me. And she got my address from my other friend, so I had no idea whatsoever that it was happening. Think about me and send me a little package without, like, I was just baffled. The kindness, and I don't feel that Emma and Rosie are strangers. I would 100% call them my friends, but we haven't ever met in person. And I think this is just going to show what the podcast is doing for me as someone who has struggled with feeling on her own, feeling friendless quite a lot, feeling really struggling with just in general feelings of loneliness or being different from everyone else. I really feel like this is just another reminder to me of the fact that I am not on our own. None of us are on our own. There are so many of us out there, and just because we don't see each other every day, it doesn't mean we're not out there. It doesn't mean we don't care. So yeah, I was a little bit overwhelmed. It was so lovely. I'm an absolute treasure these. I feel like I don't want to work with them yet because I just need to keep hold of them because they're so special, but I will definitely find a project for them. But they're absolutely gorgeous. So thank you so, so much, Rosie. You're an absolute sweetheart. Thank you. Yeah, so I did have a little bit of a disaster this week with a snapped symphony. I'm definitely going to save up. This is one of the things I was going to talk about. I'm definitely going to save up and get, I think, a ChowGoo set of interchangeable needles, because so far I just use Knit Pro Symphony and the wood has snapped completely, so it's not even, I can't fix that at all. Even if I super glue it, it won't be strong enough. So I'm definitely going to be doing that at some point, but that is probably not going to happen until after Christmas. I have not got money for an interchangeable set yet. But yeah, I'd really like a set of interchangeable. I was talking to one of my other friends who has started designing, and she said, you know, it's okay, it might not be a job for you yet, but it is something you want to evolve into one. People who take up photography, they have a really nice camera. People who do, you know, any kind of, you know, fishing, you're going to get a rod. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need the tools for what you want to be your trade, and I want this to be my trade, and I'm sitting here knitting with things that I think really are not the best, and I'm doing my best for now, and so, you know, whatever I can for now. I want ChowGoos. I mean, I'd love signatures. I'd love a set of interchangeable signature needles. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. I can't afford it. Well, I say never going to happen. You never know. One day, maybe. But I really, really want ChowGoo interchangeables. That's something that I need to put on my list. I also really want one of those, is it Plustra? Don't know. Backpacks. That's never gonna happen. Well, that might happen at some point. Not anytime soon. And then £95 when I saw the other day. Anyway, so yeah, I've got lots of things I want to buy, and I have actually bought one thing this week, but it hasn't come yet, so much for my yarn diet. But no, it is something that's planned. I am getting some John Arbon fingering weight yarn. It's the 4-ply knit by numbers coming in, because I am testing the Moondrip Swancho by Tristan, Dragonhorde Yarns Tristan, and I'm one of the testers for that, but I can't cast on until my yarn comes through. I've picked my contrasting colours. It is a colourwork Swancho. It is beautiful. If you have a look online, she has posted pictures. It was in her last Yarn Cafe, Girls in the Yarn Cafe podcast. It's absolutely gorgeous, so that is coming for that, but that is one of my exceptions. I can get things for designs that I really want to do, and I can get things for test knits that I've agreed to do. So I think that is pretty much everything. Plans for this week coming up, I'm going to try and crack on with my Perth shawl until my John Arbon yarn comes, and then I need to cast on for the Moondrip Swancho. I have got a sippler that is, the neck is done until the colourwork. So I need to wind my contrasting yarn, or actually it's my main colour yarn, and start the first chart. That was my knit for the knit-along. Obviously I'm not eligible for prizes, but I wanted to set myself a challenge. That we'll have to see if that happens. You know, I've still got a Tanya and a Floozy. Fingering weight sweaters don't seem to be getting finished for me, so the Moondrip will probably be the first one to get done because it's for someone else. I have this real thing, I don't know if you guys do too, where if something is for someone else, a gift, or a test knit, or something that has a deadline that is set by someone else, it will get done. If it's me, and no, then it will get done when it gets done. If it gets done. So yeah, my things might fall by the wayside, I don't know. So my Perth shawl is to get a bit of work done on it, and more immediately, right now in fact, I am going to work on this afternoon. So I have shown you guys this before. This is it still doesn't have a name, I don't think. This shawl is knit from Woolly Knit Yarns, and the yarn was sent to me by the lovely Sam of Yarntopia. It's an online yarn shop, I will share it below. And it's Woolly Knit yarn, and it is this big shawl, triangular shawl with this cluster stitch. And I knit this up a little while ago, and I just haven't had the time to sit down, write out, completely work out, have all the details out for the pattern. So I'm going to do that this afternoon, take all my notes, sit down and do all the numbers. It is a big woolly, thick, lovely warm shawl, right here at the beginning of summer. But it gets cold in the evenings, and this one will definitely be good around the shoulders. So it's quite a hefty knit. And it is knit in DK, so it is incredibly squashy. This also needs a block. I haven't blocked it. I'm bad at blocking, and it has an I-cord bind off, which I absolutely love. I love I-cord bind offs. So I am going to write this up this afternoon while I am toddlerless, and then start probably looking at calling out for testers. And I'm also going to film and edit a tutorial for this cluster stitch, so that I can link it in my pattern. And so this is gonna get all done and ready for testing. And I think that might be about it. That's all the sort of plans that I've got going on this week. There's a couple of sample knits that I've agreed, and test knits that I've agreed to do that are coming up, but aren't quite there yet. There is a lot of large knitting projects in my future, so I think I'm going to have to put a stop to test knits. The Moon Drip Swan Show, I've got one from my friend Katie. I've got, if I can, Melissa of Skein-Anigans. She's done that amazing Magpie Tendency little cropped sweater thing, and that just takes like 1 and a bit skeins of fingering weight yarn for my size. And she's talking about making a mini version. I would suggest, I bought the adult pattern, size pattern, and I definitely will be making that at some point. It's just when I get round to it. I'll definitely be making that, but she was talking about a mini magpie for little people, and I definitely put my hand up to test that one, so that will probably spur me on to make my own so that me and Ellie can match. But yeah, there's that, and then I have so many patterns that are nearly done, and I need to tweak or write up, things like that. So there's just a lot of big things coming up that I need to work on and crack through. But things are getting finished, slowly but surely. Yeah, so I think that's all the knitting plans. I mean, we can recap. It's been a bit of a funny one, because I can't even really talk about podcasts I've watched, because I barely watched any, because instead I watched 5 series of Game of Thrones. Yeah, I had watched series 1, 2 and 3 before, and I had 1 and 2 on DVD. And I had watched 3, but I couldn't really remember it very much. And Katie and Mia, we have a little group chat, and they were talking about Game of Thrones, and I was like, I am out of the loop, but it's not on Netflix and it's not on Amazon Prime. But we do have Sky, and you can get Sky Go, and we have Sky box sets. So I downloaded the Sky Go app, and I worked out how it all worked. I was quite proud of myself last Sunday. And started watching Game of Thrones, and it's just been on in the background quite a lot of the time while I've been getting things done, while I've been working like crazy on these Easter bunnies. You know, and we've been out and about quite a bit this week, so it hasn't been every minute of every day, but somehow, I mean, there are only like 10 episodes in most of the series, and then series 7 only had like, did it have 8 or 7 episodes? It was short. Yeah, I watched series 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the first 2 episodes of series 8, because that was on episode 2 of series 8 was on at like 2 in the morning this morning, so I watched it this morning. So I haven't really watched any podcasts, because a chain watched 5 series of Game of Thrones. Yeah. So I'm catching up now. Literally, my iPad is right next to the phone. I've been watching SDR1TNO, my lovely friend Sharon, and Katie will have an episode up this morning. She puts hers up on Monday mornings, so I will have hers to watch. So they will keep me company while I block shawls, because I've got 3 here to block and put out, and while I write up patterns. And in a peaceful, quiet house where there is not a toddler. So yeah, this week, Monday I worked, Tuesday I worked, Wednesday went out with our friends in the morning, went to the beach, got back and had an afternoon in the house. Thursday, what did we do on Thursday? Just went for a little walk, didn't do much because our friends were busy. And then Friday, Chris has been home because it's bank holiday weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday we've just hung out as a family, done little bits around the house, cut grass, things like that. Did a big Easter egg hunt in the garden yesterday, been lots of chocolate. But yeah, we've just had a bit of a funny, messed about week, and it's going to be a bit funny this week because obviously it's Monday and I'm not at work. I'm working a late tomorrow night, and then normal Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it's the weekend again. I am working on the Saturday though. So we'll see how much knitting gets done this week, hopefully quite a bit, because I've got a lot to get through, and then my John Arden yarn will be here, and I'll have to wind that up. And that's one thing I'm not looking forward to. I've got 2 skeins of contrasting yarn, I've got 5 skeins of John Arden. I need to wind it up. Winding, I'm really struggling without a Swift, and I just can't afford one right now. My Swift broke back in December. I think it was in partway through the Vlogmas it broke. So I have a ball winder still, but I have to lay the skein over my knees, and it just means that as it winds off, if I wind a little too fast, it catches other bits, and whilst it was a perfect skein 2 seconds before, it then turns into a complete tangled mess, and it's awful. So I'm very much missing my Swift at the moment, and I'm not looking forward to winding 7 skeins of yarn without it. But there we go, it couldn't be fixed. It was truly dead when I got rid of it. So I think that is everything. I can't think of anything else. I probably will think of 10 other things the minute we're done. But I'm going to go and get on with having my bit of child-free day. I'll edit this and pop it up. Yeah, we're less than 40 minutes, so I would say success. Oh, I know. I'll put it here at the end. It's fine to stay here at the end. I was going to do a quick update on, I know at the end of my podcast last week, I whinged a bit about Madelinetosh yarns. And they, Martin Luther King range that they had done, and the inclusivity colourway. A lot of people commented on that post, that first post, with that colourway in, and you know, were really unhappy at the fact that they were profiting from the inclusivity conversation that they hadn't really been a part of and they hadn't been supportive of. They closed their comments and they just got rid of them all, so no one could see any of the comments. I don't know if they have now reopened that post, but a lot of people, they then posted another post. I commented on that one as well, and I actually got a reply from Madelinetosh. They weren't apologising. This was all how it was last week when I left it with you guys. Since then, Aimee, the creator of Madelinetosh, she had come back she had been off sick, I believe, if you go and look at the post, and she had come back. She had seen what had happened, and she put a post up to say that she apologised, and she said that they were wrong, and she's going to take all the money made from that range and donate it to charity, which is actually what I'd said in my original comment, but I don't think for any even small amount of time that was because of anything I said. A lot of people were calling for things like that, and I'm sure she could just see what was the right thing to do. So that's really good. I was really impressed that they had come out and actually said that they were wrong, and admitted that, and then made a step to make it right. So yeah, I actually think that is really good, a really good step in the right direction. I do think it is a step in the right direction. I don't think that it is the be all and end all of what they need to do, but I think they have everything. I think everyone's constantly working on themselves, and I thought that was a really good first step. Unfortunately, there was still a lot of hideous comments going on. I was trolled by someone was being specifically, trying to be personally insulting me and horrible to me, but I barely suffered at all compared to some of the other people who were getting absolutely hideous comments, and then also getting hideous private messages. And they didn't do anything to moderate their comments, and it seemed that they actually didn't feel they had to. They had a sort of a statement, and they have a statement on their website apparently, and if you violated that statement, they would then mess with your comments or talk to you or say, they delete your comments or reply to them or whatever, but other than that, will block you. But there was a lot of really horrible remarks towards a lot of people in there. They felt they didn't violate them. They weren't bothered about moderating their comments. They weren't bothered about the harm being caused in their comments. So to be honest, I think that swings, they've done this one good thing where they've tried to right the situation, but then they're letting people absolutely be ripped apart in their comments under these threads, and they're just letting people be abused, and not standing up to it. So I haven't got any Madelinetosh yarn. I don't plan on buying anything from them now for a while. I might do at some point, if I think that, you know, they're all, you know, they've made other steps or whatever, maybe I'll think, oh, I like that, and then I'll buy it. But right now I don't feel like, with what's going on, I don't feel like I want to give them my money. I also don't think that anyone should throw away Mandolin Tosh yarn. I think that you spend money on yarn and you work hard for yarn, but I wouldn't promote. I would just keep my yarn and knit my yarn if I had it. And then if someone said, oh, what yarn is that? I would either say, it's one that I really don't want to promote because I don't like the company anymore, or I would say, it's Mandolin Tosh yarn. I don't buy their yarn anymore because of this. But, you know, and there are other companies like Cascade that I don't actually, I have stopped buying their yarn because of things that have gone on with them, you know. And I would always say that there's, like, I don't say usually never. I mean, I would never buy a certain person's yarn who put a video up on YouTube, but because she has gone, but like, I'm not usually that sort of person. Like, I would always give someone a second chance or the chance to right their wrongs, but I just feel like they haven't done that. They haven't made that effort, really. They've just made a starting point and then they've negated that by, I'm rambling. I'm seriously rambling. I'm probably going to cut some of this out. So yeah, that was just a little update on that, because I had ranted about it on the podcast last week. I thought I would give you guys my little update, even though it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things at all. Anyway, so I'm going to go, and I hope you all have an absolutely fabulous week. And yeah, I just want to say thank you, as always, for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.